which are expensive. So we cover that. Even the things that we know have a high likelihood of happening that are breed specific, we cover those. Chronic conditions like diabetes and cancer, so something that you're going to have every year and ongoing, we cover those as well. So that's a uniqueness in the pet insurance market. So I said it's for accidents and illnesses, but if you look at the bottom of page 2, there is some routine care coverage available. And so, if you call into our call center and talk to a licensed agent, this isn't something that we're going to proactively encourage you to get because you're really trading dollars for dollars when it comes to this, because we know that you're going to claim on this, right? Because you have vaccinations every year, you have flea and tick every year. So this is really something where you're trading dollars for dollars, but we've added this because so many people still ask for it and so many people still use it. So it's available, but it's really just letting us help you with a savings account is what you're doing. You're just giving us dollars and we're just reimbursing you dollars. So it is available, but there's not a strong value proposition with the routine care coverage. Any questions about anything on page 2? So the reimbursements are, I'm on the page 3 now. So there's no schedule of benefits there, that first question on page 3. It is a percentage of the vet bill. And so pet insurance has actually been around since 1982, believe it or not. Anybody want to take a stab at the first dog that had pet insurance? It's a pretty well-known dog. Lassie, I hear Lassie? Yeah, Lassie. Yeah. Lassie was the very first dog that had pet insurance back in 1982. So it's been around for a long time, but it really didn't get much traction early on because it was a schedule of benefits. So there's no schedule of benefits with our pet insurance. It is a percentage of the vet bill. There's no lifetime limit. So, when you get into a dog that has a chronic issue, they're racking up a lot in vet bills every year. We don't have a lifetime limit. There is an annual limit, but it resets every year. So if someone chooses a $5,000 annual limit, each year it's going to reset with a $5,000 limit. Just for your own knowledge, everybody at PetFirst that I'm aware of that has a policy, we all have a $5,000 limit. You can get a $10,000 limit, you can get a $20,000 limit, but Celeste had the largest vet bill in here at $3,700. $5,000 a year would cover that, right? So obviously, if you get a $10,000 annual limit, there is that risk that we could reimburse $10,000, so the cost of that policy goes up. So now we have them. We have, I'm sure today we've already had claims for over $10,000 and even over $20,000. We see them every day, but it's such a small percentage of our book. Usually a $5,000 annual limit is plenty, and it keeps the premium very reasonable too. Any questions about any of that? So what it doesn't cover, and this is really important, what it doesn't cover is pre-existing conditions. So there's not a pet insurance company out there that covers pre-existing conditions, and so anything that would be pre-existing would be obviously something that is not curable and that the dog or cat has before it's insured. And so how we verify that is, since you can sign up with pet insurance without any exam, what we do when somebody submits their first claim to us, we ask for the previous 12 months of vet records. So if something's in that previous 12 months of vet records, then we know it's pre-existing. But it doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. There's about 16 exclusions, with pre-existings being the most common, but the others are like tail docking, ear cropping, any kind of elective surgery that's not covered by pet insurance. It's more accidents and illnesses. So that's really it for the 3 pages. For filing a claim, we've made that simple. You can take a picture of your vet bill and you can send that in to us. You can some people still mail them. Believe it or not, we still get a lot of faxes. So you just take a picture of that vet bill and you can email that in to PetFirst, and then you'll receive a check with your reimbursement within with less than 14 days. Any questions?
this one right here, it
Yes.
does state that there's a lifetime max.
Okay, so that's the name of the policy, which is confusing. So we've actually just changed that to Premier. So on that page that has the plans on it, so it's the page that has the 4 different sections with the blue headers. So if you look at that, the top of it says lifetime 2,000. So those are the different limits. So that in 2012, when we came out with those plans that covered the hereditary, chronic, and chronic conditions for the lifetime of the pet, they named it lifetime. But we've changed that to Premier because your question is what many people think. It says lifetime 2,000. That would lead you to believe it's for the $2,000 for the lifetime. So that 2,000 resets every year, or the 5,000 resets every year. Andrew, I think I'll redo that and send that out, and we could get that. Yeah, and we get that out to everybody because we had just recently changed the names to Premier, and as of this week, they'll finish filing that in. We've had Washington's the last state to approve our filing, and so now they'll all be Premier. Average premium. It's about $427 annually. In our whole book of business, we have some policies. If it's a young cat, could be $200 a year, $250 a year. But we also have policies that have multiple pets, and they spend $1,000 a month or more on their dogs and cats.
And there's no network, correct?
No network. You can use any licensed veterinarian, any specialty clinic, any emergency clinic. Hey, we also, if you're like me, anytime something happens to one of our dogs or cats, it's either late at night on a weekend or when I'm traveling and gone. And so it always involves an emergency clinic. Emergency clinics, just the exam fee is sometimes $100, $150, and we consider that part of the vet bill, and we reimburse exam fees also. But you can use any emergency clinic, any specialty clinic. So holistic care is even covered, acupuncture is even covered with pet insurance. Yes?
Clint, one of the best things that I think about you guys that I really wanted to make sure that you touched on is my parents have fostered and kept several animals, and I know you've talked a little bit about the previous medical records that they have, and some things are hereditary that you guys cover as long as it's not something they've been treated for before. But if you pick up a town puppy or you've rescued a dog or a cat, you really don't know what their history is. So when you put that first claim in, I know you said, well, okay, great, we don't really know what their history is, so we don't really know what we can cover, what we can't cover. Can you talk just a little bit about, what we do when we don't really know what their history is and how that's supposed to be covered, especially because some people also like to rescue dogs over there?
Yes, so great question. We work with a lot of humane societies. As a matter of fact, one of our co-founders was CEO of Kentucky Humane Society, and that's how he became familiar with pet insurance, and that is how he and his co-founder launched PetFirst, was by benchmarking with companies in the UK and seeing what they were doing. And so we work with thousands of humane societies providing 30 days of insurance with their adoptions. And Celeste is right. When you adopt a dog or a cat, we don't know, no one knows in a lot of cases their medical history. So all we ask for on a newly adopted dog or cat is the adoption paperwork. So, because there's not obviously 12 months of vet records, so you send in that first bill, vet bill for any accident or illness, which usually throughout the adoption process, it's stressful on the dog or the cat. They've been around a lot of other dogs and cats, and they're exposed to a lot of new germs and allergens, and they usually will get upper respiratory infection or kennel cough, and so that's covered. But all we ask for is the adoption paperwork, just so that it doesn't say, hey, this dog was adopted and we knew it had parvo when we adopted it. That doesn't happen, but could. Yes?
Are individuals purchasing this on a payroll deduction basis, or are you direct billing them? How are they?
So either one. Most popular with the companies that we work with is direct bill, just because it makes it easy for the company to administer, and also makes it's portable, right? It's easy if somebody retires, then they don't have to go off a payroll deduct onto their own credit card. But there's groups out there like hospital corporations YMCA in Nashville, we do payroll deduct for them. Raising Cane's, we do payroll deduct for them. So there are some companies that we do payroll deduction for. But direct bill is the most popular. Any other questions? All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.